kind of check through the other ones and see what else you have. Because those tend to be the first three that you have questions on. All right, 16. Jason's buying apples. He wants to buy as many apples as he can afford. Apples cost $1.25 each, and he has $14 to spend. Write and solve an inequality to show how many apples he can buy. All right, Ryan, what do you think the inequality would be?
1.25x is less than or equal to 14.
Okay, less than or equal to 14, because he can spend $14, so it could be equal to 14, or it could be less than. You can't spend more than that because that's all he's got. All right, Mason, do you know how we solve that?
1.25 divided on each side.
Yeah, we just divide by 1.25 for this one. So now we get x is less than or equal. Now, if it doesn't come out to a whole number, you can round it off to like 2 decimal places. 11. All right. What's it look like exactly on your?
It just says 11.2.
Go ahead and put 11.2.
All right.
Okay, so if it says 11.2, go ahead and put that as your answer. Now, exactly how many apples can he buy?
11.
11. Could he buy 10? 9? He could buy 11 or fewer apples. So Jason can buy 11 or fewer apples. Okay, for that one. So that would be the case. So that's 16. It's just a one-stepper. Once you got it set up, we are done. All right, 17. Brittany. She's having some money issues here lately, so she's really got to take a look at how much she can spend on her mulch. Okay, she wants the cheapest job. So Brittany Spears is designed between two companies to mulch her LA house. Earth and Wood charges $225 for the mulch plus $15 per labor hour. Labs Landscaping charges $265 plus $13.50 per labor hour. So it's going to come down to the labor hours. Write and solve an inequality to determine for how many labor hours Labs Landscaping will charge less than Earth and Wood. So we want Labs to be less than E&W, which is just going to stand for Earth and Wood. So we want to at least set up our initial inequality. Okay, we don't want it to be equal, so we want it to be less than. All right, so as you're looking at that, how do I represent the charges for Labs Landscaping? So what would we do for that one? Okay, Lucas.
265 plus 13.5x.
265 plus 13.5x or h or n, whatever you want to use for that variable. All right, so now that you got that, Diana, what would we use for Earth and Wood? What do you think? 225 plus 15x. Now, all right, so we got that written down. I won't just stop and make sure everybody's there. So we want to solve that. Mason?
Subtract 13.5x on each side.
Okay, let's subtract a little guy. We're going to subtract 13.5x. So minus 13.5 x minus 13.5x. Okay, so I get 265 is less than 225 plus 1.5x. Okay, Mason?
Subtract 225 on each side.
Okay, subtract 225. Now that gives me 40 is less than 1.5x. All right, I'm just going to slow down here. Okay. All right. Jenny, you good to this point?
No, I messed up.
Oh, what'd you mess up on?
I put 255.
250. Oh, okay. All right. So that's a careless error. Now there's conception errors, and then there's just like carelessness errors, and it kind of depends upon you know, we don't take off the full amount of points if you just make a mathematical, like a arithmetic error, and we know what you're doing, as opposed to if you have it totally set up wrong. It just depends on how you have it set up. Go ahead, Alex. Sharpen that pencil. All right, from here, Jenna, what should I do?
Divide by 1.5.
Divide by 1.5. All right, let me know what your calculator says when you divide by 1.5.
26.67.
26.67 is less than x. We never write the x second. So when we flip it, okay, make sure that you write it as x is greater than 26.67. Okay, now, part B. Write a statement clearly explaining for how many labor hours landscaping will charge less than earth and wood. All right, how do you, what statement should you say? Because right here, because a lot of people will give me this answer, but then like they'll tell me like $16. And then they have something that's like that's not related to what the question is. All right, what do you think here in this case? Addie, Barrios, what do you think?
Like, what's the question?
So write me a statement.
Oh, I said that like it will take. Well, I got a different answer.
What answer did you get?
300.
That's a lot of labor hours.
Yeah, I got 326 hours. I think I messed up on.
All right, well look right here, everybody right here. Diane, what do you think you can say just for what I have right now? What do you think?
I said it will take 26 hours for landscaping to charge less than FY.
I didn't bring my
Okay.
work for that.
Really look closely. What does that say? That says greater than what? 26.67. Is 26 bigger than that? What's the next whole number bigger than that? 27. So we got to start with that. So Labs Landscaping will charge less. Labs Landscaping will charge less for 27 or more. You just can't say 27. 27 or more labor hours. Okay? So the way labor hours work is the total number of guys or girls working, and then you add them up. So if you have 3 workers and they're all working 8 hours, that's 24 labor hours. Okay, that wouldn't just count as 8 hours. But if you would have, it would take the crew more than 27 hours, labor hours, then you would want to go with Labs Landscaping. So you got to figure out how that's going to be. 27 or more. Okay, because we're going to start it out at a quarter hour. All right, let's take a look at that last one. 18. You recently got a puppy whose weight can be modeled by the expression 2.4x plus 5, where x is the number of weeks since it was born. Your pup needs to weigh at least 35 pounds in order to go to the local dog park. What does the 5 represent? What does the 2.4 represent? And then write an inequality to determine how many weeks it will take you before the pup can go to the dog park. All right, what do you think there? His weight can be modeled by the expression 2.4x plus 5. All right, does anybody think they know what the 5 represents? We got Abe.
How much the pup are you?
How much the pup? Yeah, and you can also word it this way: it's how much it weighed at birth. How about that? How much are it? So it's how much the pup weighed at birth. Because X is the number of weeks since it was born. So how much the pup weighed at birth. Okay, that would be the case. All right, now everybody think about this. Everybody should come up with a 2.4 from here. Okay, what do you got there, Lucas?
Oh, the weight gain per week.
Yep, the amount of pounds it gains per week, the weight gain per week, 2.4 pounds per week. So the weight gain per week. That would be the case. All right, C, write and solve an inequality to determine how many weeks it will take before the pup can go to the dog park. All right, what do you think we got to do for that as you take a look at everything we got at this point? Alex, what do you think?
I'm confused.
All right, this represents its weight, right? How much does it need to weigh before it can go to the dog park?
35
35.
pounds.
Less than 35 or more than 35?
Less than.
What does at least mean? If I'm going to get at least 35,
Less than or equal to.
it's actually bigger than or equal to. Okay. Okay. If I'm going to give you at least $20 and I gave you 10, you better be mad. Okay. So at least means greater than or equal to. So it's going to be 2.4x plus 5 is greater than or equal to 35. Subtract 5 and I get 2.4x is greater than or equal to 30. Divide by 2.4. Okay. Not going to get a whole number there, which is fine. Damien, what do we end up getting when we divide by 30 divided by 2.4? 12.5. All right, so if I'm going to round it off to the nearest whole number, x is greater than or equal to 12.5, then Maddie, how long do we need to wait?
13 weeks.
13 weeks. So the pup can go to the dog park in 13 weeks. So the pup can go to the dog park in 13 weeks. Okay? So for that one. So I wanted to go over 16, 17, and 18 because I figured those would be the ones that you had the biggest issue with. All right, I want to hand out the answer key for the other ones. I want you to kind of grade your own. And once you have it graded, I want you to pull out your laptop. And I want to see how many you missed. There, so you're going to have to share. And just hang around.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of stuff.
Don't be all rude.
I think there's a lot of stuff you've done. You haven't updated this stuff.
After you grade it, I want to see how many you missed. Mark them off, -1, -15. And then I want you to open up your computer.
Is there what?
Yeah, sit up here and we'll,
Just put it right here. Set it on this.
yeah, you can, well, I'm just trying to see where he can use it. See, why don't you, Maddie, why don't you move that, let him sit up here. And we can, let's see if they can reach over here. Okay, that's fine. How much did you get done, right?
Yes.
Pardon?
Yes. Yeah, because when you divide by negative, it's wrong.
Thank you.
It's like a ninja hit.
Alright. Yeah, big test.
Because if you don't choose one of them, then we go towards each other,
Go ahead
right?
and start doing some of them now.
You still want to go away from each other, or towards each other, right?
You have it? Alright.
You got, I don't think, I got that. I got two.
You don't think you got one?
The other one. Practice.
Were you here Friday?
Yeah.
You got it.
I think 8 on here.
You passed it out Friday.
Did I miss number
I
8?
was gonna take these.
So divided by 2.
How did, that's what we were going over before.
Maybe I skipped an option.
Same thing.
What do you got for the?
How were you checking them before?
Negative 6. All right.
Huh? You don't know what I said, I'm talking to you.
All right. Hey, Damien found a mistaken answer key. Give him +1 on the test.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Imagine that. All right, we get +1 on the test.
What?
Number 8 should be y is greater than or equal to -6. All right, and he was brought it to my attention. Y is greater than or equal to -6 for number 8. I don't know who did the answer key. I must have let my wife do it. She messed it up.
You're married?
Somehow I got married. I'm lucky.
Were you in class Friday?
I think I left early to take the other test.
I haven't finished part of it in there.
What happened to the folder check for period 2?
In my hand.
He says he didn't get a practice test, so.
Good, you get one to average. Get moving. How was the completion rate? Not too good.
It was all right. It's like, how important this is that, this is always the worst. And it's double, and it's chapter time. Yeah. Is there any ones you guys checked and you missed? You have like, what the heck? How did I miss that?
Lindsay, come here for a second.
It's now 4, right? X is less than -2, 4, X is greater than or equal to 3. That's right. That's right. That is correct for that. What's the same? Yeah, that's right. You guys okay? You check it. You guys okay? You guys done, please? Do you have any questions? You guys good? Griffin, you okay? Is there anyone with a question? No. You good?
All right, here's what I want you to do. Once you've looked through it, if you've done, turn to page 101 in your ebook. So we want to get your ebook out. So get your laptop out, and we're going to go to the ebook. And I'll show you how if you need to, because there's some things on here, some resources that are pretty good. And it's in your regular book as well, but there's one thing that you can access on the ebook that's a little bit different.
Ebook. Is the one on your page, isn't it?
So here's how you get to the ebook. Under Canvas. Okay, if you go to the home page on Canvas, on the left-hand side, this BIM app tool stands for Big Ideas Math. That's where the ebook is. You just click on that. And I think we went through this earlier so you could get there directly. Now yours looks a little different than mine because this is like a teacher version. I believe your ebook is down here on the right, like on the bottom right. Find it.
Oh, yeah.
It's right there. It's on the, you see some, you have to scroll down a little bit to get to it. So if you go to,
It's the same, I don't know if you did the process with them.
okay, all right, so hit okay, go to here. That has to be in there. And then go down. See, now I X out of that. X out of it. Yep. And then redo it. This shit, I can't. This is how it works.
Or we have to go from the beginning.
There we go. And click. Yep. Okay. So once you get to the ebook, you have to hit this little symbol here that says ebook. Okay, now I have a little bit more options than you got. You should just have the Spanish and the English version. I'm going to pick, my Spanish is still a little rusty, so I'm going to pick the English version. All right, now I said go to 101 on here. So you can just click on that and then you can type in the page 101 and it'll jump there. Okay, on 101, this is the same thing that's in your book. It says chapter 2 review. So 2.1, it goes through here. Now it says writing and graphing inequalities, 63 to 70. So that's what page that occurs on. I'm just going to hop to the next page here for a second. 2.2, 2.3, 2.4, 2.5. There's some problems from each of those sections. We did not do 2.6. You do not need to do 2.6, okay, on it. So as you go through here, all I want you to do, if you're done with the practice test, is just pick some of these problems, and do. Now, one thing that's nice, if you want to check your answers, and I'll show you here, if I go to contents, and it says selected answers, it will go through here. Now we are on, for the reviews, it will list all the answers. So I got to go to chapter 2 review. There's 2.1, 2.4, 2.6 practice. Chapter 2 review. Here's those problems with those answers. So you have extra problems that you can look over. Number one, I would look over your practice test. I'm going to put that answer key on Canvas. It will be under today's assignment. Okay, let me just show you here. Okay, it'll say Algebra 1, Chapter 2, Practice Test Key. Every problem's worked out with the exception of number 8, which I screwed up. But all the others are on there. Redo those, so take a look at those. You got all of these problems under Big Ideas Math, okay, that you can take a look at. You don't want to do 2-6. I want to show you one more thing here. I'm going to go to page 93. If you go to any of the homeworks, okay, in your book, you'll see these numbers with blue. If I am in the ebook, okay, it says Calc View there. It will give you, and you forget how to do a problem, it will give you a video on how to do it. Okay, so if I click on this Calc View, and it will give us different videos for each exercise, for different problems. So here it says exercise 1, 5, and 7. So if I'm doing number 5, and I don't remember how to do it, my good friend David will help you. Now I got David muted. And how do I unmute you, David?
Turn TV up.
No, I got it muted on my computer right here.
Usually plug it in after you try replugging it in.
No, it's this thing right here. It's just not showing up.
Equations, and just like our earlier inequalities, if we subtract the 5 from the middle, we have to do it from David.
All right.
Hi, I'm David.
My good friend.
Hi, David.
Now over here in this problem, they give us 6 is less than x
Okay,
plus
so
5,
forget how
which
to
is
do
also
problems.
less than or equal to 11.
David will help us work
So
through
in
it.
order to solve this, we want to simplify. We want to isolate this x. Well, right here, we see there's a plus 5 here, so we want to remove it from this part of the inequality. Well, to remove this, we want to undo the positive 5 by subtracting 5. Because the opposite of addition is subtraction, we subtract 5 in order to cancel this out.
Now he's writing
But
backwards.
just
I
like
don't know
our
how he
earlier
does that.
problems, just like equations, and just like our earlier inequalities, if we subtract the 5 from the middle, we have to do it from this side and this side. So
I said
even
the
though
same
this is
thing,
like
David.
a 3-part inequality, a 3-component inequality, we have to now solve all of the sides at the same time in order to make everything continue to make sense. So over here we have 6 minus 5.
Now, once you
all
get to
that's
these,
one.
now hold on for 1 second. You can go to different sections. So you can go to section 4 and get those exercises. You can go to section 3, get those exercises. So you should be able to come up with those. All right, test tomorrow. Test tomorrow. All right, who's got my, you got one. Who else has